So you've heard in the news about this DOL Fiduciary Rule. It was passed by lawmakers and is supposed to go into effect on April 10th, 2017, although the Trump administration is trying to delay it, then presumably modify or repeal it. This rule, if and when it goes into effect, is supposed to protect investors, but in reality, number one, it only affects retirement accounts. If you have after-tax money that you want to invest, then you are completely unprotected by this law. And number two, while the fiduciary standard helps to some degree, it does not go far enough. If you think that you can just let down your guard just because you're working with a fiduciary, you are wrong. For one thing, it doesn't prohibit advisors from pushing inferior asset classes like annuities, which you've seen in my videos. They're inferior and they pay fat commissions to advisors. Even the so-called low-fee annuities pay around 4% commissions to advisors. And additionally, hypothetically, even if the fees were at zero, you're still adding a middleman layer of expenses. The insurance company has overhead costs and additionally has to make a profit. This fiduciary rule doesn't protect you from being sold annuities. That's a problem. So Mr. Advisor simply asks you leading questions like, is deferred taxes important to you? How about reducing or eliminating fees? How about locking in past year's growth? Or how about guaranteed income for life? And what know-nothing investor wouldn't answer yes to some or all of these questions? And once you say yes, you've just given Mr. Advisor a license to sell you an annuity. Then if Mr. Advisor is ever under investigation by regulatory authorities, he can just say, I did what my client wanted. Never mind that they were unwittingly asked leading questions as part of a sales pitch. And never mind that Mr. Advisor lied by omission by not educating the investor about the other option, the superior option of investing in low-cost, tax-efficient index funds. And so once you're being sold a specific type of annuity product, such as index annuity, under the fiduciary standard, they're supposed to select the best annuity for you. And the fiduciary standard should at least protect you from being sold the absolute worst, most offensive annuities that have, 15-year surrender penalties and 14% commissions. But are fee-based advisors selling annuities that pay zero commissions? No! What they're instead doing is seeking out annuities that at least pay perhaps a 4% commission maybe. And how do they get away with this? They pick out products that have unique features that no other annuity has. Because there's all kinds of different moving parts that make up an annuity, so it's not hard for an insurance company to craft a unique annuity that no other insurance company is offering. And then this way, Mr. Advisor can say, I sold her the best annuity out there with the specific features that she wanted when she answered my questionnaire. I fulfilled my fiduciary duty. Another way that the fiduciary standard does not protect you is that Mr. Advisor does not have to educate you about investing or correcting your obvious misconceptions about investing. And advisors love using investor ignorance to their advantage. For example, how many times have you seen an advertisement talking about the mistakes retirees make, and then they'll talk about retirees who put 100% of their money in the stock asset class during the market crashes of the 2000s. They're fishing for those ignorant investors who are unaware of bonds, and that as you get older, you invest more and more in bonds. And Mr. Advisor can't wait to sell you an annuity and tell you how great they are instead of telling you all the bad things, and instead of educating you about diversification into bonds and how it protects you. They lie by omission. And that's perfectly legal under the fiduciary standard. It won't protect you from this type of crooked behavior. So the bottom line is, if you're one of these people who says, I don't know anything about investing, it all seems too confusing to me. I need a professional to tell me what to do. This is like walking into a car dealership with a blank check saying, here, you pick out a car for me and you decide on the price. You have to do a certain amount of basic research into investing. And guess what? I'm going to get you started on that right now. Number one, if you need help investing, consider using a robo-advisor. Most are free. You will notice that the actual investing part is simple and easy. You invest in stock and bond index funds. In fact, it's okay to own as little as two, a total bond market index fund and a total stock market index fund, or S&P 500 index fund. You can buy them through any deep discount brokerage like E-Trade, Ameritrade, or Scottrade. When you invest with these self-serve companies, you don't have some advisor who's really a salesman trying to sell you some of their expensive in-house products. Now, if you absolutely insist on working with a real person giving light advice, I recommend Vanguard. They recommend index funds and only charge 0.3% per year. Number 4, if you're wondering, do I have enough money to retire on? Will my money run out? Am I spending too much? Can I spend more? You need to learn about the spending rules, such as the 4% rule, which applies to retiree investors with a 30-year time horizon. Number 5, understand that you control risk by diversifying into bonds, not just stocks. And the older you get, generally, the more you shift into bonds. Number 6, learn how to identify deceitful advisors, or at least advisors with conflicts of interest, because sometimes people get tricked into thinking that they're working with a fee-only fiduciary, but they're not. Here's a link to a page showing the most common tricks that insurance salesmen use to try to sell you annuities. Also, avoid advisors who want to sell you actively managed mutual funds or individual stocks or individual bonds or private equity like non-traded REITs, limited partnerships, etc., all of which pay backdoor commissions to Mr. Advisor. The only thing you want to invest in are stock and bond index funds. Also, avoid market timers. These guys want you to believe that they have special abilities to time market ups and downs, and so that you'll pay them year after year after year after year. The research overwhelmingly says that nobody can time the market on a consistent basis. Number 7, join an investing forum. Ask questions, get second opinions. Just beware that some of the people posting responses to your questions might be the very advisors who you want to avoid. So be careful, but generally you'll get some good advice from knowledgeable people who are just trying to help.